Hi, ma'am.
Yes, yeah.
So most of us has joined. So we'll begin with the session.
Sure, we can go ahead.
Okay. So before that, I would like to take a moment to address the batch. So a very good morning to one and all present here. Today, we, the Placement Committee of MDI Murshidabad, takes great pleasure in welcoming you all to the inaugural ceremony of our corporate talk series, that is Ameya. Ameya, which means limitless or boundless in Sanskrit, perfectly embodies the spirit of our institution. At MDI Murshidabad, we believe in pushing the boundaries of knowledge and excellence, and this series is a testament to our commitment to providing students with valuable insights and perspectives from the corporate world. In the fast-paced and ever-evolving world of business and industry, we must stay ahead of the curve. So this series will provide valuable knowledge and ignite the flames of innovation within each one of us. We envision Ameya as a space where ideas unite, boundaries vanish, and limitless potential unfolds. So let us embark on this remarkable journey with Ameya, our beacon of limitless possibilities and knowledge. We have with our guest speaker, Ms. Shobhana Karthike. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you all a true industry leader with rich experience, currently working as analyst, campus recruitment at Mphasis. She did her master's in psychology from Christ University, Bangalore. She has worked with various companies with a passion for connecting with students and fostering their growth. As a specialist in fresher technical hiring, she has not only led recruitment efforts, but also spearheaded engaging branding activities. She is known for her expertise in end-to-end recruitment, talent branding, and learning development. Her adaptability shines through as she has seamlessly worked with various HR systems and tools. She thrives on challenges and firmly believes that lifelong learning is the key to enhancing the quality of life. Today, she would be enlightening us on the topic emotional intelligence in HR. Now, I would like Shobhana ma'am to facilitate us. So, ma'am, the batch, let us welcome our esteemed speaker to share her experiences and journey with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for that introduction. And I'm very, very glad to be here. I think this was, I should appreciate the placement committee. We had a very short interaction, but I think the entire organization of this event has been really good. So I wish you all the very best and my appreciation to you guys. And then once again, thank you for inviting me to this great forum. It's really, really nice to connect with people from across various walks of life. And I myself, I graduated just 1.5 years back. So I still am learning from the industry, and to be able to see both sides of it, being in placements or going through placements and then coming here, being a campus recruiter, being in that same arena has really given me some great insights and some experiences in the industry. So I would like to just incorporate that and let you guys know what is happening, and this topic, especially emotional intelligence in HR. I think it really taps into my psychology background as well. And let's I'm very excited to go into this topic. Can we start? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so before I go forward, I would like to just know, how are you feeling today? Just on a scale of 1 to 10, you can just put a number. 10 being excited, happy, 1 being on a sadder note, or not very great feeling mode. 8. Okay, that's a great start. 8, 9, 8. 6, 8.57. Okay, not bad. 5. Okay, I'm mostly seeing 9, 10. 5.78. Who is being so particular? That's nice. Amazing, amazing, guys. So this small exercise you're still putting in, I will go through it. But the point of this exercise is just to show you, how much we are able to, put a number on it. But emotions and emotional intelligence always go a little bit beyond that. The understanding of emotional intelligence is never truly full, or it's never completed, is what my observation or my take is, because the situations that we face in this world, the kind of combinations and the number of people that we have in this world, the combination, it's endless. So I think what no matter what kind of number we put on it, the vastness of emotional intelligence is very, very big, and it is always a little bit above all of our numbers. So said that, I really, really hope you maintain this energy levels. People who have put 5 6, I really hope you find your cheerleading, or like a cheerleader, and then within yourself, and you go power through this. Okay, so let me just quickly get into the topic. Emotional intelligence is, as we all know, it's nothing but the ability to identify one's own emotions and manage those emotions, but also be able to perceive others' emotions and how we are reacting to it. This is the basic notion of emotional intelligence. And one other interchangeable term that we can use for emotional intelligence is emotional quotient, and that basically denotes your degree of what kind of emotional intelligence you have for yourself, right? So that is what emotional quotient is all about. A little bit of background into emotional intelligence. Where did it come from, or how did this theory come up to, right? So since the beginning of philosophy, or how when the man started thinking, I think we have always had the aspect of social intelligence, something called social skills or social intelligence, where we put a pin on, how a man or a woman carries himself, how a man or a woman interacts with the society or with other people, right? So when we are talking about someone, we always put a label on them, saying that this person is like this person is an angry person, or this person is a very happy-go-lucky person, right? So we always put some labels on it, and that becomes a part of their social identity, and that is how social identity or perception came about. But now that we have advancements in mental health and all these psychological thinking as well, I think we have come down to, and we have concentrated emotional intelligence beginning from an individual, right? We are looking at how an individual is understanding his emotions and how they are displaying those emotions. And then we move into another step, and we look at how they are understanding others' emotions and they are handling it. So that is how emotional intelligence theory came about to be, and that is what we are, understanding right now. Any questions so far? Okay, all right. So even if there are questions, I think you can just put it in the chat box, or you can unmute or unmute yourself and you can ask. I would like for this session to be interactive. I think my session will be about for 40 minutes, and will open for Q&A for 10 or 15 minutes. I hope that works. So when it comes to, let me start with an example. Let me continue with an example. So if you ask any of my colleagues, any of my team members, what kind of a person I am at workplace, they will say, I'm a very stoic person, where you can't get me to either of the extremes. You cannot get me very angry. I will not go to that extreme, or I won't be very excited as well. So if there is any kind of a recognition, I will receive it, but I won't be overtly excited about it. But I have a very close friend of mine who, if I call her up in the morning, she'll be like, "Hey, Shobna, how are you doing?" And then she always maintains that same level of energy throughout the day, which makes me wonder. And I did ask her about it. Why or how are you, always excited for everything in life? Because sometimes it really gets on my nerves, right? Why are you excited? For what are you excited? But the answer that she gave me is that I need to, I want to maintain this level of excitement so that all the other negative stuff that are happening in my life, be it work, be it life, be it people, I don't want them to impact me as much as they want to impact me. So that if I am excited, that cancels out all the negative stuff. I don't know what kind of, if it is logically possible, but this is how she works her entire emotional intelligence. And that really, really made me have a different perspective about how people are going about or how people are coping in their everyday life, right? And nothing is wrong when it comes to emotions. You cannot basically say something is wrong or something is right. Of course there are moral and ethical backgrounds to it, but individually I think each and every person can justify their emotion, saying that this happened to me, I'm angry, this happened to me, I'm happy. So each and everyone has justification to the people. There are moral and ethical implications to it. So when it comes to workplace, when you are coming to a workplace and when you are interacting with people at workplace, please remember that you only know one aspect of their life. You know them only as a colleague or a co-worker, and we never know what they are going through in their life, right? And even if you are very, very close, I think there will be spillovers of emotions across the board of life. So it is very important, especially when you enter an HR field. It's very, very important to keep that in the back of your head whenever we are interacting with people. And when it comes to HR, HR is ultimately a firefighting job. At the bottom line, it is a firefighting job, be it what level you are at. You can be into recruitment, you can be into comp and ben, you can be into corporate communications, anything for that matter. And business partner, ultimately it is firefighting. Okay, so when it comes to firefighting, there are always emotional components involved, and it is very, very important for us to keep in check what kind of response, what kind of reactions we are giving, or how we are writing our emails, or how we are answering back to our peers and people at work, right? So that is very, very important. And the best foot forward to tackle this is actually understanding, or concentrating on yourself and beginning from there. That is what my take would be on it. So said that, what are some of the applications of emotional intelligence, or where does it basically is highly important, or where you are supposed to surely apply emotional intelligence apart from all these business aspects in an organization? Let me put this out as a question first. What do you think are some of the aspects where emotional intelligence is important at work? You can just give me one word answers.
Ma'am, according to me, while we are working, so basically we come across challenges that we have a deadline and things to do in a very short span of time. So I think there how intact we are at the moment and how we tackle the moment, the situation matters. So I think there emotional intelligence plays a big part.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Your performance and deadlines and the stress associated with it. Absolutely. Yes. Anybody else? While working in a team, somebody is, yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. And I think in the corporate world, emotional regulation is very much needed. So when to behave and how should we behave, like that. So it's very
Okay.
important and required.
Okay. There is a boundary on how you are behaving in a corporate environment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. That's right. Anyone else? Any other answers?
It could be conflict
Ma'am,
resolution as well. in work environment?
Sorry, Ayushi, can you repeat?
It could be conflict resolution as well in work environments.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Somebody else was also speaking. Do you want to repeat your answer?
Ma'am, it's also important while managing our household and corporate together.
Yes, absolutely. Work-life balance, very, very important. Absolutely important. Yes. Yes. And then somebody else said problem solving in a team. I think Aishi also spoke something around that. Anything else?
Ma'am, empathy.
Empathy. Oh, yes. That's a big aspect of emotional intelligence itself. I'll surely address that a little bit later. Yes, Shubhangi, thank you. Okay, those are very good answers. I think you've almost covered everything that I wanted to talk about. But I think I'm gonna pick out a few more aspects, and I'm just gonna brief them a little bit as to and I know that you're all specializing in different aspects. So I think you should know this one as well. If you have any more answers, you can just put down on the chat box. But I'm going to continue. Okay. So the first and foremost is, I think somebody answered this as well. It's about performance management. So HR, we as an HR play an important role in performance management, no matter the business, no matter the kind of team that people are working in. If there is a dip in performance, that is going to show in the revenue of the organization. But apart from that, you're going to have the morale and the culture of the organization completely going down if there is a production or a performance dip, right? And the best or the best way to tackle it is taking it in two different ways. One is on an individual level and one is on a team level. So especially when there was COVID, especially when there was when we were all working from home, do you guys remember how performance was getting affected? Was it going up or going down for you guys? Can you just say up or down?
Down.
Okay, down. Okay. Lots of people saying down. Okay, all right. Anyone felt an up in your productivity, how you were working? Anyone who felt better?
Ma'am, most of
No
the
one?
productivity was going down only as we felt as the interaction between people and between our colleagues got lesser. So working alone at home feels lonely at times.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, yes. So see, it completely for me, it actually completely depends on the kind of team that you're working with, the kind of people that you're working with, and the leader. These two people play a very, very important role in how your performance or your productivity keeps up on and it maintains, right? So for me, I am still working from home. We have not gone back completely back to offices. So because I'm in campus recruitment, I always travel. We always travel, but my team per se, I don't meet them on a daily basis, right? We meet, once in a month or twice, 2 months once, and we meet in campuses and everything. So that's how we have been. But the kind of culture we put or embedded in our team per se, and how our leaders picked that up and ensured that we were all on the same page, created a very seamless process for us. If my team members were here, they would vouch for it, saying that we have never had an out of hand situation, touch wood, but out of hand situation where we had to surely come into the office and had to pick up things. That has never happened for us. So that is why it is very important to have a leader or a manager who is looking into these aspects. He or she is supposed to ensure that on an individual level, that specific employee is having enough resources and support systems to be working from home in the first place, and not on a very personal note, but at least knows their personal affairs a little bit and knows what kind of a background they are coming from and how they can support or bring out the most potential and productivity out of that person. The manager plays a very important role there. And when it comes to a team, it is imperative that you are you'll be working, your team may be large, but you will be working on a day-to-day basis with 2-3 people very closely. Ensure that you establish a healthy friendship, a healthy competition, and a good relationship with these people. And at the end of the day, you should feel that you are having a good set of people to work with, because ultimately if you don't have that, I think you'll start looking for other opportunities, and you won't have that kind of a satisfaction in your work. Now, as an HR, the best or one of the important things that you are supposed to look at, one aspect is motivation, right? So for motivation comes in both ways, internal and external, and none of it is wrong or bad, but my observation or my take on it is that motivation should always, the source of motivation should be from internal. Why? Because external factors always keep changing, but if you depend on external factors for motivation, then at a point in time there might be none. Your external sources might be exhausted. But if it is internal, you can always it should be that I want to do this, I have the passion for it, I want to work on this, and you can always have the inspiration from your loved ones. Say, I want to take care of my family, I want to do this for my family. But the direction of motivation shouldn't be that my family is telling me to do this, so I want to do this. No, I want to do this for my family, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. The direction of motivation should be that, even if it is internal. So to build that, you need emotional intelligence to know what kind of a person is that, and where their motivation is actually coming from. That is very, very important to address as an HR, to build an individual and then build a team. That is how your performance and productivity goes up. So as an HR, you need to keep that in mind. The second important aspect in how do you or application of emotional intelligence is training and development. So training and development is all about, the basis of training and development is learning. And because you're all right now in learning period, right? So all of us have a different learning style. All of us have a different pace of how we learn, and the ability to grasp is very, very different. So the most important aspect to focus there is people doubt their ability to learn in the first place, especially after you hit 2022. Once your college life is over, you feel like either you've learned everything or you've learned nothing. It's either of these two things, ideally for most of the people. So it is important to foster that kind of confidence that people can learn. So what can you do? You can do a lot of feedback loops. The feedback should be then and there in time, and it should be real-time feedback, right? So that is very, very important in learning and development. And the second aspect to focus there is the focus. People don't have the focus beyond 20 minutes, beyond 10 minutes nowadays, because we have all gotten accustomed to short kind of, short attention span kind of content that we are all, consuming. Our attention span has come down a lot. So how do you bring in that focus? How do you foster training to the fullest? How do you at least convert that kind of a training into implementing that on the job as well, right? So that is very, very important. The best way is to again do a feedback loop and ensuring that that the person who is under training and development is understanding where their difficulties are, right? You cannot completely put them into a classroom training and say, hey, you have to learn 20 hours in the workshop and come back and implement it. No, it doesn't work like that. And it does not work like that for everyone. Maybe it works for somebody else. So you have to know all these aspects, ensure that the training modules are built in such a way that it caters to everyone else. And also getting a feedback from them saying that, did this help for you at all? Did this increase your confidence to perform the skill or perform this task at all? That is very important. And that is how you look at apply emotional intelligence there. And that is very, very important, because if candidates or employees feel like they are not getting any kind of value from that job, any kind of learning from the job, then they are going to start looking out for other opportunities again. And it's a good will of the company as well to add value to anyone who is working with them as well. They are supposed to be put in a challenging environment slowly and steadily, with moderate deadlines, where they are learning as well as they are adding value to the company and bringing in revenue to the company. So these two aspects need to be balanced, and emotional intelligence plays a very big role there. The third application would be retention of employees. So now, because of COVID, especially because of the market conditions, there is a great resignation happening, right? I'm sure you would have heard of the term, the great retention, great resignation. Retention ultimately is a game of culture. Okay, so there should be a culture that is embedded and has to be brought and built by leaders and people in the workplace, where everybody knows that, for example, say I send a mail at 7 o'clock in the evening, and I should not expect. I hope everything is fine.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries. Okay, so a small example will be that maybe I found the time to send an email at 7 p.m. at night, but I cannot expect someone to reply right back, and that is a culture you have to put in, right? Only during the work hours, people are going to reply back to you. In some organizations, that is not the case. They will expect a reply. One person will send an email, and then they will ping on WhatsApp and then on Teams. Did you see my email? Can you respond back? Can you give me this data? No, that is not how it's supposed to happen. If that is the kind of a work that you sign up for, then okay, there are some works that are very, very time constrained and have a very short deadline. That is okay. But if this is a practice every day, then that becomes a culture, right? So that is very, very important in retention. And the second aspect is recognition of talent, recognition of efforts. Imagine being understood by someone without you telling them anything, right? So that is how recognition works. Until you don't wait until an employee asks to be recognized. You give them recognition on a regular basis, not just on a monetary front, but on a moral front, on a social front, so that they know that they are valued here. They know that they will be recognized here. Until and unless we do that, they are going to retention is going to be very, very hard, and that is why there is a very big aspect of attrition and BPO, attrition in very specific fields, because there is no growth beyond that, beyond a level in many jobs. It's all dead end jobs, and people just resign and move to something else. So emotional intelligence there is very, very important, because you have to and you have to look at the everyday problems, right? As I spoke about how having a set of people to work with, they should be good, and you should feel good about working with them, right? So that is also very important, the process that they are following, or is there any other constraint, or is there bullying in the workplace? All of this, the everyday problems are very important for a retention of an employee, because those small things are the triggers that will ultimately bring them to a place where, no, it's not worth it, that no matter the money, it's not worth it that I'm feeling this bad. So let me go out. I'm sorry. So that is the kind of emotional intelligence that you're supposed to apply when you are working in policies of retention, or if you're looking at recognition programs within the company. These are some of the aspects that you should be addressing and looking at, and connecting with employees on a regular basis. And again, a feedback within HR and the business per se is very, very important, because ultimately it is the HR who is looking at if they can be promoted, if they have to be detained in the same position, or all of these mapping is done by the HR. So it is important that you have a good feedback with the business and ensure that which person is feeling out for other offers, or which person is okay and satisfied in the position that they are in. These are some of the aspects that we should look at. So beyond this, one main aspect of application of emotional intelligence is mental health per se. And two important aspects within mental health is stress and burnout. Okay, so when it comes to stress, I think we all know what stress is, but all of our degree to handle stress is very, very different. They are, some of us, because of our emotional state on that day, we will be more we will have more outward display of our emotions. We might get angry for little things, and it might be silly, but we will be getting angry, or we will be very, very happy one day for no reason at all. So our emotional state really, really impacts on how we are perceiving things as well. So here, the most important thing is, again, self-awareness. Please be aware of how you are reacting to other stuff. At this age right now, I'm guessing you will all be between 20 to 25. That is a range, is what I'm looking at. So as a young adult, we should be knowing these basic stuff about ourselves, where we are reflecting, am I always going to this emotion when I'm being angry, or when this person is coming and talking to me, or is this only today? That is a reflection that you should surely have. And when you identify that, you will be able to handle your stress better. And that is very important, and how you can apply emotional intelligence there. And the second thing is burnout. Burnout is very, very serious, very subtle, but very serious, because I can give you an example of myself, where I really loved psychology, and that is why I took psychology. Okay, but psychology in itself is a very exhausting kind of a field, because you're always dealing with people, their emotions, how they are understanding or perceiving the world. As a psychology student, this is a phenomenon, just like how doctors go through. Psychology students or anyone in the psychology field goes through, where they are very exhausted, because they are getting their energy or fed energy from everybody else, but they are not taking care of themselves, right? So at the end of 3 years, I was so exhausted that I had to take a break from academics. 12 years of your schooling and 3 years of college, I had to take a break. I had to take a break, and I worked for a while, explored my options in psychology, and then decided that, okay, let me at least go into dealing with people in a positive way, and completely not in a negative way. So that is why I came into HR, specializing in HR. And I didn't want to do clinical per se, because clinical has its own ups and downs, and it's more complicated, and you're dealing with medicines and talking to people. This is a little bit on a lighter note, is what I would say. So I came into HR. So burnout is very, very serious, and small little things build up to burnout. And keeping an eye out as an HR, we need to keep an eye out for employees who are in the verge or in the middle of burnout, and you should know how to bring them back. We need to give them proper coping mechanisms, and try to elevate any possibility of any other tasks that can be taken away from them for a while, and then bringing them to a comfort level, bringing their energies and their resources up, and then starting out their career all over again. So both stress and burnout with regards to mental health has a big application with emotional intelligence. As an HR, you need to keep an eye out for these two kinds of people, because burnout will not show a very outward kind of a display. Stress usually comes out as getting irritated, agitated, being angry all the time, all of that. But burnout will show us slacking. This person is not working at all. But it's not that they are not working. They don't have the energy at all. They come to that kind of a state, and only right in the middle of it will you be able to see symptoms of burnout. In the beginning, it won't be there at all. So please ensure that you are keeping an eye out for these kinds of people. So these are 4 applications that I found within the domain of HR. And then I would just like to give you a few aspects or features of emotional intelligence, how you can build, or what kind of aspects you should look at when you're building emotional intelligence for yourself, right? So first is your self-awareness. Self-awareness is the basic thing that we all need to have across any aspect of life, okay? But self-awareness for emotional intelligence is way more important. It's very advanced. So ensure that you know yourself. Again, as I told you, you need to understand what kind of reactions or responses, or which emotion do you by default go to when some things are happening. So then you will be able to address the root cause of it, saying that, did it come from this experience? Did it come from trauma? Did it come from childhood? Or did it come because of a habit, right? So these are some of the root causes that could be there, and you can address and identify and work on it. So self-awareness is very important. And the second thing is self-regulation. One big part of emotional intelligence is impulse control and self-regulation, managing your emotions, right? So you cannot outright go and say, somebody actually told this in the session today, how you are acting in the corporate environment. You cannot go around bossing people. You cannot be angry, and you cannot just throw your emotions out there when you're in a business meeting, right? So how are you managing your emotions? Ensure that you are reasoning with your emotions before you respond from that place, right? So if you're getting angry because of an employee, think why you are getting angry, or at least keep that anger aside and say, you are doing this and it's making me angry, so let's just put a pin on it and come back to it later. At least do that. Don't act out of anger or contempt. Those things will put a very big block in your careers. Once there is a social identity that is formed around you, it is very hard to break it. And ultimately, as humans, we tend to lean towards keeping it up, saying that, oh, you told me something about me like this, let me prove it to you. That is our basic mentality of humans. So it's very hard to break once you get into that. So try not to get into that. It's very important. That is self-regulation. And the third thing is empathy. Again, someone else told empathy. Empathy is huge. It's very important to go in social circles and actually act or move around in social circles. Empathy is very important. Someone may be getting angry, but maybe they don't usually get angry. So please do understand that maybe something has triggered them that very specific day to be acting like that, right? And if it is the case continuously, then you can always come back to them and say, this is not appropriate for a business environment and will not be tolerating. Please do work on it. There are various other coping mechanisms that you can give for them or address that issue. So empathy is very important. And again, motivation, we are coming back down to motivation, because motivation has to be internal, because ultimately you might exhaust all your external resources. There might be none, but your internal resources will always be there, even if it is very less. And that is how you build your strength, you build your motivation, and go forward from there. Emotional intelligence is very genuine and very important when it comes to motivation. You need to know your why is your motivation. So please ensure that you are working on it. And finally, social skills is nothing but how you carry yourself around in your workplace or in a social setting. It is about it's about it's not about you being an introvert or an extrovert. It's about understanding what the job is and then being able to execute it, having the skills to execute it. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert. And that is the notion behind it. And building your social skills is important, especially as an HR. You will require a good networking skill, right? So and then maintaining relationships and building relationships, these are all social skills as an HR you need to address. So ensure that you have a regular connect with your friends, because ultimately when you get out of college, even right now, if you think about it, how many school friends are we in touch with, right? How many college friends or your UG friends you are in touch with, right? So that is very important. Be regular in your communications, be regular with relationships, and that applies even to life. That's very important. So these are 5 aspects of emotional intelligence. If you practice these 5, I think you can increase and build on your emotional intelligence over and over, and keeping it consistent as well. And finally, one final point beyond all of this, to build emotional intelligence, is reflection. Reflection is very, very important, because most of us get caught in the situation, get caught in that circumstance where we just react before we respond. And only after that is over, you start regretting or overthinking about it. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done that, or should I have done that? So reflection is very important. Don't get into a spiral, but always, even the happy things or the excited things or the positive emotions, just reflect, saying that what was I feeling there, or how did it come up to be? Where is it coming from? Reflection is very important when you're building social intelligence. So listen, empathize, and then respond. I am closing the session here. So let's open for Q&A. If you have any questions, any clarifications, or anything about the industry per se, we can have a chat.
Sure, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning.
So after 2 years, we are going to join the corporate. So how to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Healthy work-life balance, really great question. Okay, so one of the it should start from the beginning of your career. Okay, that is my first advice or my recommendation to you, because as one of the advices that we get as very young people is that when you're starting out your career, just work for 5 years, just slog for 5 years, and then you can take it forward from there. You will all be built up and you'll be established in the industry. But no, it doesn't work like that. You have to put your work-life balance as a priority, because this is where your burnout starts. If you don't put your work-life balance on priority, your burnout will slowly start. It will be very, very slow, but only when you're in the middle of it, you yourself will actually identify it. And then it is very hard to come back from there. So that is one of the reasons why your work-life balance should be established in the beginning. Talk to your managers, talk to your leaders. If you have, and then please do not choose a company to work with a company just because of the package. It is ultimately about the kind of people that you're working with. If that every day to day is hell, then it's not worth any kind of money, guys. That is my take on it, and that is my experience on it. So you can take it as you may, but please do not choose a company just based on the package. Please talk to your leaders, people whom you're working with, team that you'll be working with. See what kind of people they are. Are you able to manage, tackle your stress around? Internships are a great way to test your waters. So please do keep this in mind, and this is why work-life balance is very important. Establish it from the very beginning, and ensure that you are focused. So say 5-6 hours of your work time, just give 6 hours, and be organized a little bit, so that it is not very chaotic. That is not spilling over majorly in your life, and your life is not majorly spilling over in your work. Sometimes it happens. You need to pick up a call. You need to pick up a few calls here and there. So there might be emergencies, but be okay, at least occasionally organized so that you can manage. Is my advice.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Since you touched upon the topic of employee retention, I would like to know what strategies do you think is essential for attracting and retaining the top talent of an organization? And as a HR professional, how would you implement those?
Okay. So with regards to employee retention, as a policy, you need to start building some elements into your company so that employee retention is good. With regards to emphasis, what kind of an experience I've had is that I've seen leaders within my organization who have stayed for a very long time, and they have been recognized for their talent. They have been recognized and given that kind of a growth, for the efforts that they have been put in. So that is the first thing, and I think I addressed that even in the session. The second thing is, again, because I'm in talent branding, I'm able to say this. Talent branding is very, very important. Excuse me, guys, I just need to take a sip of water. So talent branding is very important because we need to establish a very good relationship with a young talent per se. And this actually applies to experienced people as well. We need to be able to have subject matter experts, and we need to be connected with various forums as an organization to be able to identify and attract talent. And we need to have a good growth plan or a good mapping and a regular mapping or regular recognition within that program to be able to retain that talent, right? And that is one aspect of it. And the second aspect is, yet again, the kind of leaders, the kind of people that you'll be working with. As a culture, you need to establish the fact that, hey, we do want you to work, and these works are important, but we also care about your personal life. We also care about your other aspects of life. So you need to give them time to sort that out as well. You cannot completely hog somebody's time just because you're paying them. And that completely, that basically changes the entire idea, or a kind of a very ill will towards an employee who is working for you, right? So these are two things that are very, very important when you're drawing policies, when you're working on policies with regards to employee retention. But yet again, employee retention is also a game of the market. You need to look at the supply demand in the market and how your demand is within the organization. So you need to balance and match that. I hope that answers your question.
Good
Yes,
morning,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Hello.
Hey, yes, yeah, I'm here.
Ma'am, so as a fellow psychology enthusiast, same as you, though not in a proper academically way, but I would like to ask, like, when someone, like, as you have mentioned about burnout and stress, so stress is something that happens on a short-term basis on a particular way, but burnout is something that's long-term, and that's a little bit longer process. So when we as you HR look at people who is getting burned out, or the person is getting burned out, what are the tasks or what can be done to bring that person back to a normal life? Not like giving them a leave from the proper project, from the current project can't be an option every time, like, man.
Correct.
So what can be the another few other ways that can help?
Okay, so again, I would like to just correct you there with regards to stress per se. Stress can also be on a long-term basis. Sometimes stress builds up, and then it can be long-term as well. But when it comes to burnout, burnout is I would address it with a growth mindset. Okay, growth mindset as an individual, growth mindset as an organization. So when you establish a growth mindset, it basically states that you can always do better. There is no kind of a competition, or there is no aspect of you shouldn't you have to meet this absurd deadline, and it is all about the ability to look at yourself, reflect yourself, and do better every single time, and you have the ability for it. So how do you build the ability for it? You give them resources to basically give them training, good training, or if there is any kind of lack of a skill, you introduce a skill and give them trainings. And you also build their emotional component, saying that, hey, we are not going to penalize you for it. We are not going to hold absurd deadlines for it. We are not going to penalize with regards to promotion, or you don't give that kind of a threat. You don't create a threat environment for them, and you give a growth environment for them, where they are able to basically explore a little bit and identify their talent, their caliber, their interests, and go forward from there. So and this is the basic concept of addressing a burnout. This is before happening. This is a proactive approach. If it is right in the middle of a burnout and you want to bring an employee out of it, the best is to take away a few tasks and delegate a task that they can handle. Sit down with them, ask them, what can you handle right now efficiently? What do you know the best that you can handle efficiently? So take away a few tasks and delegate. Give them enough regular intervals for them to recoup and come back. If the work hour is 8 hours, keep them working for 8 hours and leave them be, for them to come back. So these are some of the things that you can do. And of course, you can always address that with a little bit of counseling. And, the manager and, team support will also help. So these are some of the aspects that you can address.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Ma'am, I had one question.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I would like to.
Ashray, you may ask your question now.
Okay. So, to what extent has AI been incorporated in the recruitment process when it comes to CV shortlisting? And adding to that, what are the ways you can make your CV outshine?
Okay, this is completely out of this entire thing, I guess. Okay, I'll answer it very briefly. AI has been used in the ATS systems for a very, very long time. If you Google, ATS friendly CV or resume, I think you can have those components. Okay, but yet again, I personally, because I'm a campus recruiter, we don't use much of an ATS because we have to go through a different process altogether. That is more for a lateral hire, at least with emphasis. But we are looking into integrating more technology into it. Okay. But my main points will be for making it an ATS friendly resume is, have a don't give irrelevant information. Okay, tailor each and every resume to that specific job. That is very important. Specify your experience first and then your educational qualifications. And again, you don't have to mention how much you have scored in your educational, only in your highest education, and your UG and PG you can mention. 11th and 12th, it doesn't really matter in many organizations nowadays. So those kinds of things are very, very irrelevant. You don't have to give your address. Don't put your address out there. You can just put the city that you are living in. That's more than enough. You don't have to what else would I say? Skills needs to be very, very specific. So please ensure that you are, even if you have certifications, don't mention all certifications that you have received. You can mention certifications that are required only for that specific job. So AI has been, it's very advanced with regards to ATS systems, but it also has its cons. Sometimes if you don't put it into an ATS friendly resume, I think it does reject a lot of people. But it is important, or it is very, it's a very good tool in a country like India where the population is very high. How else will you filter, right? When you don't know the candidate, how else will you filter? So that they use it as a filter. But I think you can just Google ATS friendly resumes. I think you will get all of this.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I have a question like what are the short-term and the long-term career goals in the field of HR and how we should plan to achieve them leveraging with our MBA degree?
How do you achieve them without?
With leveraging our MBA degree.
MBA degree. Okay, all right. Okay, unpopular opinion. Please don't cancel me here. So for me, I didn't do an MBA. And this is not just because I did this and I'm talking about this very highly. No, I've seen my friends do MBA. I've seen lots of people. I'm hiring MBA grads. Okay, so I do know where people stand with regards to MBA and why I chose not to do MBA. So MDI is a top ranked institute. So you're all doing MBA from there. Well and good. It's really good, and that is where my take is also. If you get to do an MBA from a top ranked institute in India or anywhere else, please go ahead and do it. If you are going to get it from a random college, not a very well-ranked college, then it is not worth the money, because an MBA degree at the moment is a lot of money. It has become a business. Everyone who completes their engineering gets into an MBA, does a business administration course, and they want to get into leadership and go from there, right? So my only point is, please know where you are starting or where your career goals are. If you know that an MBA degree for sure will help you, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, please don't. Finish your engineering or finish your undergrad, be it whatever, MCA, BCA, whatever it may be. Finish that, get into that field, work for a while, 5 years, 4 years, gain that experience, and then do an MBA. It will make a really big impact, because you know the business now, you know the operations behind it, you know the budgeting, you know leadership, you know a little bit of everything, and now you're going to concentrate that, get a degree, and then go from there. That is really good. But doing an MBA right after UG, I will not recommend until unless you're doing from a very well-ranked college. Okay, so that is my take on MBA per se. Second thing, what you asked was, how do you leverage it with an MBA degree? Okay, so no matter what, okay, how many of you have done internships? If you are an UG and if you didn't have any kind of a experience, you will be calling. Okay, that is the first, or any kind of an operational work is what you will be given even in an internship. And operations is where you start your career. No matter if it's recruitment, if it's comp and ben, no matter the field, operational side of that aspect or that field is where you start, and that is how you learn as well. Please be open to such positions as a fresher. If you don't have an experience in, or if you don't have an engineering degree and you don't want to get into business per se, you're in HR predominantly, start with operations. Operations is what you do on the field. Learn that well, and in 1 or 2 years, if you know that process, I think the growth will automatically come. And then what you're supposed to look at is how you manage people, how you manage the tasks, how you prioritize it, how you do a workflow, right? Never, even if you're an entrepreneur, I think you would have heard this statement a lot: don't make a business be dependent on you. So don't make any process be dependent on you. It should just work until you just do a click, you just do 2 or 3 things. It should just flow. Automatically it should flow. Create a process like that for yourself. Your style of working should be such that the process does not depend on you. And always transfer that knowledge to people who are coming in, or to your colleagues, and they are able to do it even without you. That is how you get recognized. Your leaders, or my leaders for that matter, they don't sit in front of computer or laptop 24/7. They do it all on calls. Right now, everything is on calls. And then ultimately, they have a good team like me or my colleagues who are able to do a little bit of a transactional process and close that. So transactional processes is where you start, and then go into leadership and all the other levels of transactions. So I think that is how you build. And even with the MBA degree, please ensure that you do a lot of internships, and you know which ones you like, which areas that you like, and then get into that. Because lots of people, what they do an MBA degree, come and they get bored of what they do 9 to 5. Okay, so please ensure that you like what you're doing. That also increases your productivity, your satisfaction, all of it. So I hope that I answered the question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shubhangi, you can ask your question now.
Ma'am, my question is that how does mindset affect the emotional intelligence, and how you had dealt with negative mindsets?
Okay. See, some people are generally very, very negative, very pessimistic. Some people are very optimistic in that way. Okay. So extremes, I don't think you cannot change it overnight. Okay. But if it is like, you're getting a negative feedback, you feel bad, you put a lot of effort into your work, but it didn't turn out so well. All of that can be tackled very, very easily. If you just have a good connect with your employees, and you're giving a good constructive criticism, right? It should not be like, you didn't do this one job, you're not worth anything at all. It shouldn't be that. And as a person as well, you are supposed to build a mindset where you shouldn't be expecting validation from somebody else, right? All of this, I think it's been trending on TikTok and all of our social media, where looking for validation outside. And but it is a very, very important aspect, because our parents' generation, previous grandparents' generation, they've all built a very communal society, which had pros and cons. And the cons is that you get a validation from outside. Okay, so try to break that a little bit. Interdependency is very important, but getting validation from outside is not very healthy. Ensure that you know your skills, your knowledge, your abilities, and start building on that. And do not take the criticisms or the comments to your heart, because business is a business. Okay, they run a business, or anybody runs a business because it brings them profit. If you are creating an obstacle to that flow, anybody is going to get angry. Please know that. You cannot be like, no, this is my job, I did it well, but it didn't turn out, so I won't take accountability. Take accountability, and say, from going forward now, I will start addressing this, and I'll build this, and we will close it. So that is how you look at any kind of negative mindset. People who are very pessimistic, I think that requires a different approach. But if you have short-term outbursts or negative aspects to your mindset, this is how you go about it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone
other
else
questions?
has any? Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
My question is, ma'am, how do I effectively enhance my emotional intelligence skills to be better prepared for the world of HR?
Okay. I think I addressed 5 aspects. Let me give you 2 or 3 important aspects. I'll just highlight again. Self-awareness is the key. Okay. You have to know yourself at least 40-50% for sure at this age. Okay, because you learning about yourself is a lifelong process. But please know some aspects of yourself. How do I feel? How do I react? How do I respond to certain triggers or situations from the society or from my friends or people around me? That is very, very important. Self-awareness. Again, motivation. This is the 3rd time I'm telling you. I'm repeating this because it's very, very important, because in a day-to-day life, we tend to overlook it. We will be like, okay, tomorrow this is going to happen. Today I have done this. Day after, this is going to repeat. Rinse and repeat. But where is that motivation coming from? if it just goes off like a light bulb, then how do you get up? How do you go back to it? It has to be internal. It cannot be external. Please note this, guys. Your motivation should be internal. It can come from inspiration from loved ones, all of it, your family, friends, everybody is there. Okay, everybody is there, but it should be internal. It is a little bit of a lonely journey, but your motivation should be internal. Otherwise, you will not be able to go out in that world and perform as much as you want it to be. You'll be very disappointed because your expectations will be here, and the what is happening will be completely different. So motivation from inside. And finally, as an HR, some of you may be introverted, and it might be a little difficult for you guys as an HR, but don't worry about it. Know that this is what the task is and do what is supposed to be done. And especially as an HR, networking skills are very important. Please be regular, consistent with regards to networking. Have good connect with your friends, your batchmates, because those are the people who are going to be in different organizations, and you can always tap into those people, right? So have good networking skills, and that's very important.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Actually, ma'am, I have a question to ask. That is, what are the cultural considerations when applying emotional intelligence in a global HR context?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
What are the cultural considerations we need to keep in mind when applying emotional intelligence in a global HR context?
Global HR context. See, ultimately, whatever global can be broken into parts. Okay. Again, culture is the biggest obstacle or an aspect that you will be observing or looking at when you are looking at a global level. But yet again, it can be broken down to those people who are basically interacting, right? So if you have offices in two different places, say US and India, we have various cultural differences. So I think making people sensitized to what are some of the things that both of them are supposed to look at when they are interacting with these two people, those set of people, that is very, very important. You can address that. But apart from that, as a culture, on the whole, as an organization itself, you need to be you need to be putting in elements where nobody is discriminating, nobody is leaving out somebody just because they are from a different background. So that is a basic concept or culture that you should be putting in even before addressing mainstream cultural elements, say such as two different countries or two different communities, or they are from two different language backgrounds. All of these are mainstream cultural elements. They are like absolute different. But as a culture within the organization itself, you have an inclusive way, have an inclusive leadership, have people, penalize people who are doing all of this, bring in people, bring in talent who have a good mindset with regards to all of this, so that the culture sets in itself. And then these absolute differences can be easily addressed. It's the gray area that you need to set first, because that is where people tend to have different thinking and different backgrounds, different thoughts in life. Absolute differences is absolute. You can always tackle it logically. There are various tools for it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Good morning, ma'am. I have a question.
Good morning.
Yes. How can HR professionals measure the impact of emotional intelligence on overall the employee's well-being and the satisfaction, performance, productivity?
Can you repeat the first part of your question again?
Okay. So how can HR professionals measure the impact of emotional intelligence on overall employees' well-being and organizational performance, productivity?
Okay. Overall performance, yet again, see, my first answer would be that you find a good leader. Anyone who is a good leader, because leaders really play an important role in this aspect, because they are the ones who are connecting one-on-one with each and every person, rather than the team themselves. Because sometimes we may feel that I don't want the entire team to know, but I have to tell my leader because this is going to impact my productivity, right? So you need an understanding leader. You don't need a manager. You need a good leader who will take all of these into consideration, take these day-to-day aspects, or difficulties around performing a job into consideration. For example, campus recruitment involves a lot of travel, and that will impact my everyday life, because I'm going to be, it will impact my health, it will impact my routine, my habits that I have formed over the years, right? So it is going to disturb or take me away from my comfort zone a lot, a hell lot, right? So keeping that in mind, a leader should be able to prioritize which person or which task is very important. Probably some of the days I would like to just sit in one place and work. I would not want to travel because it's been very, very hectic. So knowing the pain points of employees with regards to performing a task, and removing them as much as possible, or at least giving them coping mechanisms, will surely address their productivity and performance rates. If you just put them only in an uncomfortable zone and tell them this is challenging, just do this job, you have to tackle challenges, that is how you grow in career. Yes, that is the logic of it. But if you do not if you set them up for failure all the time, then how are they supposed to succeed at all? They will not be able to taste success at all. You have to set them up for success, and then whatever challenges come, you can tackle. But if you put the system itself in a failure mode, then tell them to tackle it, then it will surely dip their performance. So those are some of the things that we need to look at for overall performance, knowing the pain points and knowing what is happening in the field per se. As a leader, you will not be doing the transactional things, but as a executive or as a person who is just starting out a career, you will do transactional things more than all the decision making and everything. So that is very important.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, one final question, if it is there. I think we have ran out of.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Right. So anyone has any question?
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. So, as you mentioned, self-awareness being a very important aspect, not only for professional, but on an individual level as well. So, as a result, we sometimes need to conceal our emotions according to situations, right? For example, in pressurized situation, we need to act accordingly. So if you could share some of your experiences, that how to manage in those situations, how to conceal our emotions according to the situations, that would be great for us.
Okay, that's a great question, actually. So it's the context. The context is very, very important when it comes to emotional intelligence, right? So because anger is, we tend to put anger in a very negative zone of emotions, but anger is actually very, very productive. If you know how to tackle it and tap it rightly, anger is a very, very productive emotion. And I found this very, very recently. Okay, so context is very important. As you very rightly said, you cannot just go out and you cannot just spill your emotions all over the place. You need to know how to act, especially in a work environment. So my first suggestion would be that know who these people are. See, this is why you need to establish a good connect with your people that you're working with. Okay, then you will know what relationship or what kind of a value you put on that relationship. Are they just colleagues? Are they acquaintances? Are they are they going to be good friends or potential friends? Have you built that kind of a relationship with them? The priority of relationship, that is very important. If you establish that, then you will know, should I be angry at this person? Should I value my relationship, or should I just spill my emotions. That is very important. Okay, applies to entire life. It's not just workplace, but entire life. Again, in a workplace, please know that these people, they are also coming to workplace just like you. They are getting, it's a payday for them as well. They are going through different aspects as well. So ensure that you know the priority of the relationship and worth of spilling your emotions out. If I spill my emotions, or if I get angry, or if I get disappointed here, is anything going to change? Will this person change their behavior because as a consequence of me spilling my emotions or reacting this way? If it is not worth it, don't do it. There is a saying where if you try to make someone understand who acts like they don't understand, then there is no point, right? They are just going to act like they don't understand. So please know this, the worth of getting all worked up, and the value of the relationship. These are two main points where you can draw, saying that, can I act this way or should I conceal? Just calm down and say, hey, this is what this is. What are you trying to do? This is what is happening to me. You can address it that way.
Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. Would really apply it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, I think we can close it.
Yes, ma'am, surely. So thank you everyone for the questions. Before we conclude, I want to express our sincere appreciation for your generous contribution of knowledge and insight during this corporate talk on emotional intelligence in HR. Your expertise and experience has been truly invaluable to all of us. And your talk not only has provided us with the practical advice, but quite a deeper psychological comprehension of what it takes to succeed in the corporate world. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your wisdom with us and addressing all our queries with such patience. It has been an insightful session, and we're grateful for the opportunity to learn from you. I would also like to acknowledge that our distinguished guest, Ms. Shobna, has been very kind and has selflessly showered us with all our indispensable experience and learnings. So our gratitude for that, ma'am. And we look forward to applying the insights you have shared, especially the aspects of the emotional intelligence, be it reflection or self-regulations, that we definitely ought to know at the beginning of our career. So we really appreciate the fact of you taking out the time out of your busy schedule to join us today to enrich the college community. We hope to have the privilege of hosting again in the offing time. Once more, thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. And thank you, audience, for having such an active participation and attention during the speech. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am.